The Aam Aadmi Party has often come out with allegations of corruption against political opponents and corporates. But today, the party led by Arvind Kejriwal stands accused of swindling money by a group of former AAP members and volunteers. The opportunity was enough for the BJP to accuse the Aam Aadmi Party of double standards. The AAP has termed the expose staged and dared the BJP to prove the charges. Here's the report, and we'll throw it open for debate.
Aam Aadmi Party is hiding a lot more than revealing in terms of what they have received, very clearly tinkering with their accounts much before they speak. It is not a small offence.
It is a situation that the Aam Aadmi Party has often thrown the opposition into many times. But this time, the party is at the receiving end. What has left the party in a spot is a group that calls itself Awam, accusing the Aam Aadmi Party of money laundering.
आपकी वेबसाइट पे ही जाके उनका डाटा चेक कर रहा था तो मुझे पता चला 50 लाख की 4 ऐसी डोनेशंस हैं जो बोगस कंपनीज ने दी हैं।
जहाँ के उन्होंने एड्रेस दे रखे थे वहाँ पे हमारे वॉलंटियर गए तो वहाँ कुछ ऐसा मिला ही नहीं कि वो कंपनियां एग्जिस्ट कर रही हैं, काम कर रही हैं। कंपनियों में कॉमन एक डायरेक्टर था। आगे फिर जब जांच की गई तो पता चला कि इनके पास तो इतने पैसे ही नहीं है कि 50 लाख दे सकें।
What has caught the eye of the opposition are 4 specific transactions worth 50 lakh rupees each, made on the same day and time. It was enough for the BJP to pose a few tough questions for the Aam Aadmi Party.
One day, one night, at the same stroke of the midnight, as they call it, stroke of the midnight, they've received 50 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 50 lakhs and 50 lakhs from shell companies. Don't anymore give us this explanation that we are receiving checks. Yes, you're receiving checks. You're putting it on the website. Yes, you're putting it on the website. But who are you receiving it from? 50 lakhs each, 4 checks, 12 midnight, 5th April 2014. Have all been vetted and approved by the Political Affairs Committee? That's what it means.
But while the mystery over the 2 crore rupees infusion continues, the political battle has surely begun.
एकमात्र पार्टी है जो जनता के सामने जा रही है और इस बेखौफ तरीके से जा रही है ताकि हमें पता है कि देने वाला भी 4 बार सोचेगा, अगर उसके पास काला धन होगा हमें देगा नहीं, और हम भी अपनी तरफ से स्पष्ट रहेंगे।
फॉरेन कंट्रीब्यूशन रेगुलेशन एक्ट जो रोकती है फॉरेन कंपनीज या फॉरेनर्स को भारतीय पॉलिटिकल पार्टी को डोनेशन देने से, उसका रास्ता निकाला गया कि कोई भारत निवासी को वो पैसा दिलवाया जाए और वो वेबसाइट द्वारा आम आदमी पार्टी को वो डोनेशन दे।
With just 5 days left for the polls, it may be the biggest threat to AAP's clean politics pitch. So will the Aam Aadmi Party and its chief Arvind Kejriwal come out and clarify? Watch this space. Bureau Report, News X.
Well, this volunteer group that has come out with this expose also said that these companies were essentially shell companies, that they didn't have any fixed assets on the ground, that some of them were dormant, were not even listed according to the addresses that they professed to be working out of. We decided to independently verify the claims of the Awam. Here's the report.
आपकी वेबसाइट पे ही जाके उनका डाटा चेक कर रहा था तो मुझे पता चला 50 लाख की 4 ऐसी डोनेशंस हैं जो बोगस कंपनीज ने दी हैं।
AAP getting blindsided by its former comrades. An NGO consisting of former AAP volunteers accusing AAP of money laundering, claiming shell companies use for AAP funding.
Our old volunteer, Mr. Neil, came to me and told that some irregularities in companies, parties funding. उसके बाद जो है हमने उसकी अपनी टीम को मिला के पूरी जांच करी। जहाँ के उन्होंने एड्रेस दे रखे थे वहाँ पे हमारे वॉलंटियर गए तो वहाँ कुछ ऐसा मिला ही नहीं कि वो कंपनियां एग्जिस्ट कर रही है, काम कर रही हैं।
News X went out to hunt the companies listed on our website. The NGO had claimed that they were fake.
Sir, to address the other address which has been given by a company, Skyline, it's on your address. What do you have to say?
I am not aware as to how they have given this address. I am not concerned with this company, nor it was in existence at this address.
Owner of this house who himself is a lawyer, will file a criminal complaint. He is also trying to look at that who are these people who had floated a company on this address, and this company was running since many years.
ये D8 गोकुलपुरी आपका एड्रेस है?
हाँ जी।
इस एड्रेस पे गोल्ड माइन बिल्कॉन नाम के कंपनी का एड्रेस दिया हुआ है।
इस एड्रेस पे नहीं तो मैडम।
आपका क्या नाम है और आप कितने साल से यहाँ पे रह रहे हैं?
मेरा नाम राजू है। मेरे फादर जब से इंदिरा ने ये कॉलोनी बसाई थी तब से ही हम यहाँ पे हैं। तिमारपुर की झुग्गियों से जैसे आके यहाँ बसी थी तो मिला था प्लॉट।
The residents are mentioning that they have in fact received a lot of paperwork with the fact that it spoke about somebody called Gindala. That's what the resident who's living here has mentioned, and he said that he has not heard of anyone by this name.
Political temperature in the capital has rocketed after the explosive revelation.
देश की जनता के सामने लाइए, बताइए किस किस अपराध के किस किस धारा का उल्लंघन हुआ है। जो अपराधी है उसको सजा दिलवाने का तत्काल प्रबंध कीजिए। हम आम आदमी पार्टी की तरफ से भारत सरकार को, आरोप लगाने वालों को, सबको आमंत्रित करते हैं।
All this very clearly shows that the Aam Aadmi Party is hiding a lot more than revealing in terms of what they have received, is probably fudging their accounts much more than what they're showing.
As the mystery deepens over the rupees 2 crore funding, AAP is clearly caught in a tricky situation just before the Delhi polls. The onus is on Kejriwal to explain the fake addresses that NewsX has exposed. For now, BJP has a big stick to hit at AAP, and they are gleefully swinging it. With Payal Mehta and Priyank Tripathi in Delhi, Bureau Report, NewsX.
The Aam Aadmi Party is holding a press conference presenting its own defense. Let's go and listen in.
दिन पहले लाया जा रहा है ताकि कोई सच ना जान सके और बस कीचड़ कहीं ना कहीं चिपक जाए। भारतीय जनता पार्टी आज जानती है कि उसके पास जनता के सामने खड़े होने का विश्वास नहीं है, इतना इनमें हिम्मत नहीं है। जनता से भाग रहे हैं, डिबेट से भाग रहे हैं, मैनिफेस्टो तक इशू करने से भाग रहे हैं। तो चुनाव में कैसे खड़े होंगे? उसका ये चोर दरवाजा है। ये चोर दरवाजा है जिसके जरिए कुछ ऐसे सवाल उठाए जाएंगे ताकि चुनाव भ्रमित हो जाए, चुनाव किसी दूसरी दिशा में चला जाए। उसकी कोशिश हो रही है। आम आदमी पार्टी इस देश की एकमात्र पार्टी है जो केवल और केवल 1 नंबर का पैसा लेती है। एकमात्र पार्टी है जो अपनी फंडिंग में पारदर्शिता बरतती है। एकमात्र पार्टी है जो वो सारी सूचना सार्वजनिक करती है जो करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है, कोई लीगल पाबंदी नहीं है, वो सब सूचनाएं सार्वजनिक करती है। इसलिए आज भी जितनी चीजें आई हैं उसके बारे में हम खुशी से चीजों को सार्वजनिक करना चाहते हैं। आम आदमी पार्टी ने ये जिन 4 केसेस के बारे में आज चर्चा हुई है, इन चारों केसेस में आम आदमी पार्टी ने केवल चेक के जरिए पैसा लिया। आप ही सोचिए, जिसने कुछ छुपाना होगा, जिसने टेबल के नीचे से कुछ करना होगा, वो चेक के जरिए पैसा लेगा। सारा बैंकिंग ट्रांजैक्शन बिल्कुल लेजिटिमेट है। आम आदमी पार्टी ने सदैव की तरह जो हमारी सामान्य प्रक्रिया है कि जब भी कोई हमें पेमेंट होता है, हम उसका एक अमाउंट के ऊपर का पेमेंट होता है, हम पैन नंबर लेते हैं। वही हमने इस केस में किया। हम जैसे ही वो पैसा हमारे पास पहुंचता है, हम उसे सार्वजनिक कर देते हैं। देश की कोई पार्टी ये नहीं करती। एक अमाउंट के ऊपर का पेमेंट होता है, हम पैन नंबर लेते हैं। वही हमने इस केस में किया। हम जैसे ही वो पैसा हमारे पास पहुंचता है, हम उसे सार्वजनिक कर देते हैं। देश की कोई पार्टी ये नहीं करती। वेबसाइट पे डाल देते हैं। जैसे ही ये बात हम अपने डोनर को बताते हैं, आधे से ज्यादा डोनर कहते हैं ना बाबा, आपकी पार्टी को हम पैसा नहीं देंगे। हम कहते हैं कोई बात नहीं, ये आम आदमी पार्टी है, ये तो चीजों को सार्वजनिक करे ही करेगी। इस केस में हमने सार्वजनिक किया। आज जिन सब तथ्यों का सहारा लेके 3-3 प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस बीजेपी ने की हैं, वो आम आदमी पार्टी के सार्वजनिक किए हुए तथ्य थे। हमने बताया था दुनिया को कि ये तथ्य हैं। अगर हमें कुछ छुपाने को होता, हम क्यों इसे वेबसाइट पे डालते? आम आदमी पार्टी की एक जो तकनीक है वो ये कि जितने भी चेक उस दिन जमा होते हैं बैंक में, वो सब चेक एक बंच बना के रात को डिक्लेयर किए जाते हैं। इसलिए वो रात 12 बजे का समय दिख रहा है। ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि रात 12 बजे आके किसी ने ट्रांजैक्शन किया, हमें पैसा दिया है। चेक उस दिन बैंक में जमा हुए थे और सारे जितने भी 10, 20, 50 चेक उस दिन आए होते हैं, सबको एक सॉफ्टवेयर के जरिए, सॉफ्टवेयर ही ऐसा बना हुआ है कि वो रात को 12 बजे अपलोड करता है उस दिन के जितने भी चेक रियलाइज होते हैं। इसके बारे में पता नहीं कैसे कैसे हेडलाइंस चल रहे हैं, कैसी कैसी बातें चल रही हैं। कोई 2 मिनट हमसे पूछ लेता तो बता देते कि बात क्या थी। ये तमाम मुद्दों पे आम आदमी पार्टी ने इस मामले में वैसी ही पारदर्शिता बरती है जैसी कि किसी भी और मामले में। हमारे पास, आम आदमी पार्टी के पास छुपाने को कुछ नहीं है, ढकने को कुछ नहीं है। हम इस देश की जनता के सामने हर बार गए हैं, जनता के दरबार में हमेशा जाएंगे। आज चूंकि कई सारे तथ्य उठाए गए हैं, कई सारे सवाल उठाए गए हैं, आम आदमी पार्टी ये मांग करती है कि भारत के सुप्रीम कोर्ट के द्वारा एक एसआईटी का गठन होना चाहिए, एक स्पेशल इन्वेस्टिगेटिव टीम का गठन होना चाहिए जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट के डायरेक्शन में काम करे, किसी सरकार के डायरेक्शन में काम ना करे। सरकारें किस तरह से इंक्वायरी करवाती हैं हम देख चुके हैं। आम आदमी पार्टी ये मांग करती है, रिक्वेस्ट करती है, और इसके लिए हम भारत के
Well, the Aam Aadmi Party there putting out its defense. Yogendra Yadav coming out and issuing 3 or 4 clarifications, and he's also made 3 or 4 counterpoints. Most importantly, he's called for a SIT probe monitored by the Supreme Court, saying that, look, I don't trust political parties. We as another opposition party realize that the government has various instruments at its hand and they can manipulate outcomes of probes, so we demand a Supreme Court monitored SIT. That's what the Aam Aadmi Party has demanded. Let's just discuss this, because we were supposed to be joined by an Aam Aadmi Party representative, Ashish Khaitan. He's going to be with us in just a few moments. He says he'll join us moments after this press conference is over. Let's hope he keeps his word. Now, let me very quickly introduce our panel. Joining us this evening is Major General Retired Anil Verma, Chief of the ADR, which is a body that looks into reforms, democratic reforms. Jaiveer, Shergill, the spokesperson of the Congress. MJ Akbar, the national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, with us. Ashish Khaitan, spokesperson of the AAP, is expected to be with us in some time. Arima Sundaram, senior lawyer of the Supreme Court. Gopal Goyal, member of the Awam, is also with us. But before we come out to our guests, I just want to go across to Nirmala Sitharaman, who I spoke with a short while back. Now, Nirmala Sitharaman, alongside Mr. Piyush Goyal, were the 2 ministers who briefed the media on this entire episode today. And I'm sure my guests will bear with me for just about 5 minutes. Mr. Akbar, Mr. Arima Sundaram, I request you to stay on with us for about 5 or 7 minutes. I just want to weave in Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman, who's the Corporate Affairs Minister, so that she can put her points forward also and set up this debate before we go into it. I hope you don't mind this digression. Let's go across to Nirmala Sitharaman. NewsX. I'm just going to ask you a few questions with Nirmala Sitharaman. Let's throw this open for debate. As I introduced our panel earlier, joining us is, of course, MJ Akbar, the national spokesperson of the BJP, Arima Sundaram, senior lawyer of the Supreme Court, and also Major General Retired Anil Verma, Chief of the ADR, and one of the individuals, Gopal Goyal, member of the Awam, or the volunteer group. Now, I just want to begin first with Arima Sundaram. Mr. Sundaram, the Aam Aadmi Party is constantly coming out and saying that they've done, from their side, due diligence, in the sense that they have been very meticulous in uploading the names, the addresses, the other financial details, the transaction ID, as well as all other relevant details onto their website for everyone to peruse. And if they were, and if they were guilty, they wouldn't have done so. One. Two, most importantly, they have said that as far as they're concerned, they've taken everything in check. No cash. And all this money that is sort of got remitted to their accounts have happened at midnight because of a software that deposits the money at 12 o'clock. That's what they've said. How do you respond to this, Mr. Sundaram?
Actually, Rahul, I think there are very few people today who do not believe that political parties are taking money from any sources, declared, undeclared, various sources which they should not be receiving it from. I think everybody does know the amount of money which goes into politics and that this money is coming from all kinds of places. And I don't think anyone is disillusioned by that fact. Actually, what's happened is the Aam Aadmi Party has really painted itself into a corner by going on the basis of a holier-than-thou attitude, as though while this may be a malaise with everybody else, they themselves are so pure, they do not do any such thing. Now, without commenting exactly on whether they are right or wrong, whether they have an explanation, don't have an explanation, they have put themselves in the position of Caesar's wife. And same as Caesar's wife cannot be seen to do any wrong, they cannot even be seen to be in a position where these uncomfortable explanations are called for. To answer the two relevant points that you have made.
Yes.
Number one, I don't think it makes a difference whether payment comes by check or otherwise if the source of the payment is suspect. The payment coming by cash means that it is prone to be undeclared money. Payment coming by check may be declared money from the source from which it came, but then if that source itself is suspect, then various other questions arise as to what kind of money has actually come. Coupled with this is the fact that the status of these companies, whether these companies under the Companies Act are entitled to actually make these donations or not.
Okay.
Has their turnover been sufficient? Is this a correct percentage of that or not? Now, according to me, it's all very easy for somebody to say, look, I got it from a company by a check and I know nothing more. But I believe that a party which puts itself in a holier-than-thou position has a duty, when it is receiving such huge payments, to satisfy itself as to the correctness and legality of those payments. And if they are not able to do so, but merely are going to say, I received it by check, so what could I do? And I had no bad intention, I put it up on my website, and therefore I'm absolutely pure. I do not believe that is the answer.
Okay, that's not the answer. It's not sufficient. Let me bring in MJ Akbar. Mr. Akbar, how do you respond to what Yogendra Yadav was just saying? We're also going to be joined by Ashish Khaitan any moment. Now, how do you respond to the AAP's prima facie defense in this entire case, Mr. Akbar?
I'm afraid, Rahul, that is a very thin cobweb of false.
How do you respond to the AAP's prima facie defense in this entire case, Mr. Akbar?
I'm afraid, Rahul, that is a very thin cobweb of falsehoods in order to cover up a network of fraud. I mean, the explanations really are laughable. When you say that you took the money, after all, these shell companies were created in order to convert cash into a check. That was the purpose of shell companies. The shell companies are not genuine companies. Can anybody in serious politics say that a donation of 50 lakhs is coming from some mysterious source who nobody knows about? The donation of 2 crores is coming. These are not small amounts of money. This is not 100 rupees to 1,000 rupees coming in from anyone or everyone. So I am afraid this does not wash. This is a very massive scandal. A massive scandal that has been exposed not by the BJP or the Congress. This has been exposed by people within Aam Aadmi Party themselves. That's a very, very important point.
Massive
These are
scandal.
people inside, obviously people who have had a few illusions about the party and who are very angry that they have been disillusioned and are very angry at the cheating and the fraud.
A massive scandal, says MJ Akbar. Aryama Sundaram, noted Supreme Court lawyer, also comes out and says that it's not good enough. Ashish Khaitan, well, you seem to be very carefree there in your corner. I want to ask you, were the shell companies created for the express purpose of turning cash into checks, as the BJP claims?
I think one should not forget that Aam Aadmi Party is the only party in the country which discloses all its donation, makes it public, put it up on the website. The best way to deal with such issues is complete transparency. That's the best way to deal with it. We exercise absolute transparency. We have made this issue public. We have made the details public. The details were public, and that's how Bharatiya Janata Party is nitpicking on it. I want to ask one question. These details have been available in public domain over the last 8 months. The transaction dates back to April, first week of April 2014. This government is in power for the last 8 months. Why just 4 days ahead of the Delhi elections, the two sitting ministers of NDA government rake it up and are playing the press conference game? If Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman, who also happens to be the...
But you're not answering the question, Ashish Khaitan.
Who also happens to be the power minister. Let me complete. I'm answering your question. Let me complete. If they are claiming that we have done anything wrong, if we have broken any law, what is stopping them from launching an investigation against them?
Well, they might be doing that.
What is stopping them from instituting an
They might be doing that,
them?
Ashish Khaitan.
They might not be doing that. They are not doing that.
One second.
Listen to me.
Nirmala Sitharaman on this channel. One second, Ashish Khaitan, let's not get excited. One second, please. Ashish Khaitan, 1 second. Nirmala Sitharaman on this particular channel has said that we will look into it. No, 1 second. It's only been 24 hours.
On this particular channel, I'm telling you.
It's only been 24 hours.
Let me complete.
1 second. 1 second. No, Ms. Khaitan, I need to correct you. Mr. Khaitan, I need to correct you because you didn't hear.
I need to correct you.
No,
I need to correct you. Just give me 1 second. Let me complete my point. See, let me complete my point, then you can have a go. I'm saying that just now we have made a demand that all three political parties, Congress, Aam Aadmi Party and Bharatiya Janata Party, should on their own come forward and say that we demand an SIT investigation into our political funding. We have just made a demand. We are going to write to the Chief Justice of India tomorrow. The first thing tomorrow morning, we are going to ask the Chief Justice of India to please institute an SIT into the political
but
funding
you need to answer my question.
Party, but also BJP and Congress.
Okay, you do that. 1 second, but you need to answer some specific questions.
You have BJP and Congress spokespersons on your panel. Please ask them, will they agree to this demand?
Mr. Khaitan, I'll do all of that. Don't worry, we'll come to that. That's second part. No, 1 second. Let's not digress. Mr. Khaitan, let's not digress. I don't want to reduce this to a...
This is
a shouting match. 1 second, please.
Is this digression?
I will get them to respond to this.
This is digression.
For the moment it is. For the moment it is. Ashish Khaitan, I'm asking you a simple, straightforward question.
Okay.
Under the PMLA Act, the PMLA Act makes it incumbent upon those that receive donations to also check the antecedents of these companies. There are also other stipulations.
That's the
that
point.
Only companies that have shown profits for about 3 years can donate. Thirdly, that 5% of the net profits, 1 second, of that company are only up for donation. Now, none of this was done by the Aam Aadmi Party, and you have to respond to that central accusation before I throw it open to the others to respond to you on the question that you have posed. First, you answer my 3 questions.
Yes. So, we sought the PAN number of the company. We made it very clear to the company that will only accept the donation through the banking channel. We sought their banking details. We sought their SIN number, TIN number, and they furnished all these details. They furnished their PAN number, they furnished their CIN number, they furnished their TN number, they furnished their banking details, they furnished their registration address, and after having furnished all these details, that we accepted the donation from them. Now, this is the maximum that any political party can do, but yes, if still the government in power today believes that any law was broken, then they should not simply be doing the game of press conference and muckraking. The onus lies on the government now, since they have made the allegation that we have broken the law. You must remember this, that even last year when UPA was in power,
okay, 1 second.
UPA every day used to say that we are receiving foreign funding.
Let's get the responses.
UPA said this. On 7th May 2014, UPA filed an affidavit in the High Court that they have not found in an iota of evidence that we broke any law in terms of foreign funding. And this government also went...
Please don't make me a mute spectator.
This mudslinging.
I'm coming to you.
Isn't this very clear that this is a game of mudslinging?
Don't reduce me to a spectator. they want to investigate
1 second, Ashish Khaitan, 1 second.
Why don't you investigate 20,000 crore rupees of Bharatiya Janata Party?
Let me bring in Gopal Goyal. 1 second, sir.
Elections
Mr. Khaitan, look, there's no point shouting like this. There's no point shouting. Let's others also come in. We've understood the points you made. I think you made them cogently. There are enough intelligent people tuning into this debate to understand where you're coming from. So let's not repeat ourselves ad nauseum. Let me first bring in Gopal Goyal. Gopal Goyal, you have made some allegations against the Aam Aadmi Party today. Why don't you accept the fact that the Aam Aadmi Party asked these companies to supply their PAN numbers, their TIN numbers, their other details, including asking these companies to pay through the appropriate banking channel?
Okay. This is treachery and treachery of the highest order. An IRS officer, once selected, is trained to detect such frauds. He is trained to tell, he is told how front companies are created, how shell companies are created, and how money laundering is done. Now, for his training, taxpayer money of us innocent citizens is used. Now, this particular Mr. Clean, who has been Income Tax Commissioner, has used all that training for his personal and political gains. They will not say anything about the quantum that the company can receive. Even if it is received by check, there is an upper limit on the quantum that a company can pay by check. That is my first point, that Mr. Kejriwal is using all of his professional training to make personal and professional political gains in the guise of honesty, integrity, and after emotionally exploiting a lot of voters like us.
Mr. Goyal, answer the question.
Is that Mr. Ashish Khaitan,
we can all make all sorts of unsubstantiated claims. Just answer the question. Why are you not satisfied when the Aam Aadmi Party said, now come on, get to the point. When they say that they've asked for the company to supply a TIN number, a PAN number, etc., why isn't it enough for you, sufficient for you? Come on, get to the point now. I don't want all this digression and muckraking. Please, get to the point.
Okay. Fine. This is just a fig leaf. This is just a fig leaf.
How?
This is not how you establish that the money coming is clean.
Okay.
This is not the way you establish that the money coming is clean.
Okay.
Did you see the financials of the company?
Okay, financials of the company. Okay. MJ Akbar, why is the BJP still standing? No, still standing on principle. Why is the BJP MJ Akbar still standing on principle when the Aam Aadmi Party constantly says we've asked the companies to supply all sorts of details? What's the problem?
But, you have only asked the company to supply the details that you have created. After all, if you are taking money by check, obviously the money will be in a bank account with the various, PAN numbers and so on and so forth.
Yes.
The point is, where does this money come from? That's the point. These are shell companies. These are companies which have not earned a rupee profit. These are companies which have no revenue. These are dead companies. These are shell companies. Where has the money that was paid to AAP actually come from? They have no revenue. They have no earning. They have violated the law, as you have heard, because they have made no profits for 3 years. And these are substantial amounts. These are substantive amounts. They are not small amounts. So therefore, violated the law, as you have heard, because they have made no profits for 3 years. And these are substantial amounts. These are substantive amounts. They are not small amounts. So therefore, clearly, somebody is using the technicalities in order to cover up a whole rotation of funds.
Wow. So an onus of due diligence.
There are many companies which take cash and for a certain percentage will turn it into a check.
Okay, so the onus of due diligence, Mr. Khaitan, lies with the Aam Aadmi Party. The Congress wants to add to it, and then you can respond to both these political parties, both the BJP and the Congress. Jaiveer, Shergill.
Rahul, I just have...
what I see...
Ashish, just give me 10 seconds. Just give me 10 seconds, you can respond. Just give me 10 seconds. I won't take more than that. I have just 3 quick points. In the entire narration of due diligence, Mr. Khaitan for once did not say, yes, we verified the balance sheet of the company. That did not come. Number one.
Absolutely.
Number two.
That is the point.
Number two, on their website, Rahul, I have the website open in front of me. They say no investment from shell company should be allowed. Did they verify whether company was genuine or not? Because they should practice what they preach. Number 3, of course, there is something more than meets the eye. Mr. Ashish Khaitan can tell you the best. Why till date they haven't filed their poll expense with the Election Commission? For this reason, because they would have to justify and show the source of the company. This is from where we got the company money and this is where we spent. Till date, every other political party has filed their expense sheet with the Election Commission and they are in violation of the law, even as we speak today. So why that has not been done if they are so honest?
Okay, Ashish Khaitan, 3 questions.
Okay. Rahul, I would like to tell the viewers that Aam Aadmi Party doesn't receive any money in cash. I think the total quantum of the
Shazia Ilmi's video last year, she was caught accepting money on your on video. She was caught accepting money, showing you give me money in cash, I will show as a salary for our volunteers. This is classic clandestine money laundering. What else it is?
My dear friend, don't do this. Let me complete. You made your point, now let me complete. So, Aam Aadmi Party is the only party that receives not even 1% of its total donations in cash, which is within the stipulated norms, which is under 20,000 rupees. All the money that we receive comes through banking channels. Now compare this with the conduct of the Congress and the Bharatiya Janata Party. You can go and find out that 80% of the funding of the BJP and Congress comes in cash through unknown sources. Unsubstantiated sources, undisclosed sources. Both Congress and BJP were indicted by the Delhi High Court for the violation of FCRA rules for taking money from foreign companies without informing the RBI and in violation of RBI rules. 3, both Congress and BJP don't disclose the source of the donations. We disclose the source of our donations. We exercise all due diligence. But even then, as somebody pointed out, if they feel that the due diligence was not enough, I would like to tell you, and Rahul, you made a very pertinent point, we don't have the powers of CRPC and IPC. We don't have ED and IB and income tax reporting to us. But this government, the onus is on this government because the ministers, union cabinet ministers made an allegation that they have evidence of money laundering against us. This should not stop at mere allegation and muckraking. The onus is on this government now to prove that we have done something wrong, and please send us to jail. Please send our entire leadership from Prashant Bhushan to Arvind Kejriwal to jail. You set up an SIT and we have demanded an SIT. We are going to write to the Supreme Court to set up an SIT, investigate us and investigate also Congress and BJP.
Okay, at the risk of punning, Mr. M.J. Akbar, put your money where your mouth is. Institute an SIT probe or what have you and give the AAP what they are seeking. Martyrdom, maybe, I don't know. What do you think, Mr. Akbar? What's stopping the government?
Well, at the moment we're discussing a story of exposure which has exposed, as I said,
you will only discuss it in TV channels.
Funding. This is the story. The story is there, the evidence is there, the story has been brought out by former AAP sympathizers, activists who have found and discovered clear fraud. At the moment, you're absolutely right in one respect that you say that the government should investigate this fraud.
Absolutely.
There should be the law must take its own course and the law must take its course quickly. I agree with that completely.
Yes,
that is
but
what
Rahul,
Mr. Khaitan
the
says.
government
yes.
the government
of course the law must take its course.
The government will, or whatever the government does, but that does not change the fact. The government, whatever inquiry government does, that does not change the fact that Aam Aadmi Party was under legal duty and obligation to verify the balance sheet.
I find it interesting
to verify the balance sheet.
The BJP and the Congress.
To verify the balance sheet.
You know, Mr. Akbar has come the closest to saying, yes, there should be a case filed against the Aam Aadmi Party. Jaiveer, Shergill, you need to jump off the fence. Tell us, is the Congress going to make that demand tomorrow of the government? Simple. Are you going to do it today? Forget tomorrow.
No,
Why not now?
Rahul,
you're a spokesperson.
Yes, I'm going to give you a categorical answer. Today, our disclosures are governed by Representation of People Act. Tomorrow, if the law will change, we will make the disclosure accordingly.
No,
that is why I said
your party. I'm saying, are you going to demand an investigation into the Aam Aadmi Party, or are you going to sit on the fence because you are worried that you might be hoist on your own petard?
No, I am saying on your show, yes, straightforward, they are collectors of black money.
I want you to make the demand.
SIT should probe into whether they are collecting black money or not.
Breaking news. The Congress asked the BJP government at the centre to institute an SIT perhaps monitored by the Supreme Court?
Court
I'm asking you.
The Supreme Court SIT is also there to unearth black money. So if they're collectors of black money, SIT is already there.
So there's an SIT already there. They should be made brought under the terms of reference of the existing SIT. Lieutenant General, Major General Anil Verma, I'm asking you a simple, straightforward question. The Aam Aadmi Party today says, look, we are the cleanest. Would you buy that?
Rahul, the indications are that Aam Aadmi is also going the way of the other national parties.
How do you make that?
One is there is an increase of 16% in the Crorepatis who are contesting this time compared to the 13. There is an increase of 11% in the number of candidates with criminal cases because we focus on these two issues. But I also want to bring out an issue that we've already written to the SIT on black money that the humongous amount of money which is used by the parties in the elections needs to be monitored. There is no limit on the expenditure of the political parties.
Okay.
So this tutu meme of the parties will go on. But the issue is that will we do something about it? Because we've also filed a PIL in the Supreme Court on the curbing of the expenditure in the elections by the political parties.
Okay, Arima Sundaram, all of this of course feeds in to the larger political narrative, and that is that there's a lot of pressure on political parties to collect money very, very quickly to fight expensive elections. And all political parties, as you mentioned, when you began the debate, you mentioned that all political parties have run away from making themselves accountable. Now, do you believe today that we have a situation where the pot is calling the kettle black?
Absolutely. Look, the fact is, like I said, I don't think there are too many people who have any manner of doubt that the political parties, all of them without exception, and unfortunately Kalpana herself, Caesar's wife herself, the Aam Aadmi Party, has also now fallen into the same pot of all of them needing monies to fight an election.
Well,
and that is where I think we have to come to the root of it. Let us not forget one thing, that we keep calling ourselves the largest democracy. We have a democracy where we have a electorate which is in the furthest corners of this country. We know what it costs to fight an election. I think we really have to look at it in a different way. We should look at it from a fact that we know that to reach the electorate, for candidates to reach the electorate is going to cost money.
Yes.
And I think we should all start contributing towards an election in a different way. I have an idea. For example, all your media, all your television networks should free of charge give 1 hour time when each one of the candidates is given an equal time to be able to speak to the people.
Okay.
I mean, these are very far-reaching things. But till then, let's not fool ourselves.
Well, I'm not
There's
going
one
to...
hell of a lot of money coming in, for elections. Where these monies are coming from, we all have our doubts. But the fact is, they are coming in, they are being used by all the parties.
I want you to pay close attention,
and let me say one last thing. Assume this had happened with the BJP or the Congress, the same thing that has happened to the Aam Aadmi Party. The first persons who would have screamed from the rooftops would have been the Aam Aadmi Party.
And that's the reason
and said, look at this dirty politics.
That's the reason why, Arima Sundaram, I want you to stay on with us for another 10 minutes or so, because I want to get into the more specific aspect of this entire debate. And I'm going to open that up. Mr. Khaitan, the top leadership of the Aam Aadmi Party has done background checks on these 10-month-old donations as per their own stated policy. You have always said that we do background checks. Yogendra Yadav has publicly said that every corporate donation above 9.9 lakhs is probed by the... has done background checks on these 10-month-old donations as per their own stated policy. You have always said that we do background checks. Yogendra Yadav has publicly said that every corporate donation above 9.9 lakhs is probed by the Political Affairs Committee. That is your Aam Aadmi Party's Political Affairs Committee, of which Mr. Kejriwal and other senior members of the Aam Aadmi Party are members. So I want to ask you that when 4 checks of 50 lakhs each have been deposited in your accounts, I presume that this same body, the PAC, would have gone over the antecedents more thoroughly, and that Mr. Kejriwal would have been part and parcel of the vetting process. So therefore, he is accountable.
So, I'm a little dismayed by the fact that none of the independent panelists on your channel are willing to appreciate the fact that yes, there is a party which voluntarily on its own discloses all its sources of funding. All its
Well,
sources of
I
funding,
don't know about
whether it
this.
is 5 rupees or 50 lakhs. Please listen to me. Don't do that. Listen to me. Let me complete and then you can ask me a question. We put all the donations on our website on our own voluntarily. This is how this information has come into the public domain in the first place. We are not like BJP and Congress, which claims that they receive 80% of their funding every year in cash. In cash, so they don't have to disclose the source of funding.
No.
On the other hand, we receive funds through banking channels. Let me complete. Let me just finish. As I said at the start of the debate, the least and the maximum that a political party like us can do, that we seek money through banking channels and banking channels alone. We ask for PAN number, we ask for TIN number, and we put it up on the website. So if authorities have anything against any of these companies, they can very well go and investigate against them. I am telling you on your channel कि हमारे किसी भाई भतीजे की कंपनी नहीं है. We have not done a quid pro quo. We have not done any deal. If tomorrow you find anything against any of these companies, please go and hang them. And if you can prove that we had done any underhand deal with this company, we are ready to face the music. We are ready to face the punishment. If there's 2 years of punishment, please send us for 4 years in jail. But don't just keep asking questions of a party which is just 20 crores in its complete funding, and not one question for parties which has received 20,000 crores so far in election funding. Bharatiya Janata Party, which ran the most expensive political campaign in 2014, they don't, once again, three names were disclosed of Swiss bank account holders. 2 of them had donated money to Bharatiya Janata Party. Radha Timlo from Goa and another one, they had donated money to Bharatiya Janata Party. And it was in excess of 2 crore. But there's no question about that Bharatiya Janata gets indicted by the High Court for violations of RBI and FCRA rules. Bharatiya Janata Party gets money from Radha Timlo, from Swiss account holders.
Mr.
There's nothing against them. Don't ask them anything.
Mr. Khaitan.
And once again,
there is an old principle.
Right Information Act.
No, there is an old principle in politics. If you never be caught with your hand in the till. That's what they say. Now, whether these political parties have succeeded in hiding all of this...
No, how does this maxim apply in this case?
1 second.
No, you are passing a judgment.
I'm not.
All
I'm saying is...
I object to this.
Mr. Khaitan, I'm not passing a judgment.
Don't use this phrase.
I'm not. I'm just saying. No, 1 second. Listen to... Let me finish. Mr. Khaitan, I'm only using this in the context of the BJP and the Congress. 1 second, sir, please. You need to listen to me. You need to let me finish what I'm saying. Don't take my remark out of context. All I'm saying is that all of this applies only when a political party or any individual, etc., is not caught out. I'm not saying that you have been caught out. I'm making a general...
Have you been caught out?
I'm not saying that. Please understand.
How are you saying that?
All I'm saying is that you are constantly talking... 1 second, sir. Mr. Khaitan, if you let me finish.
Just on the basis of few documents.
Mr. Khaitan, will you let me finish?
Just on the basis of few press conferences by BJP leaders, you have come to the conclusion that we have been caught with our hands in the till?
I have not. If you would let me finish.
Order an inquiry.
If you let me finish.
Why don't you institute an investigation?
Mr. Khaitan, if you would let me finish.
Any kind of investigation.
Mr. Khaitan, let's not catch on to one word here and there and make an issue out of it where none exists. Now let me tell you where I feel that the Aam Aadmi Party is not coming out with a response. You are talking about listings. We are not talking about... Let me finish. We're not talking about listings of information, of TIN numbers. We're talking about verification. Under the law, under the PMLA, you have to carry out due diligence. Am I right or am I wrong, Mr. Sundaram? The due diligence has to be conducted.
Absolutely.
The Aam Aadmi Party
the due diligence, the first thing they should have asked for was a balance sheet.
The balance sheet.
The first thing they would have needed was a balance sheet.
A balance sheet. So, Mr.
Not a PIN number or not a PAN number. What does the PAN number show you? Does it show you the amount of turnover of the company?
I can hear you,
Does
Mr.
it show
Khaitan,
you what the company actually... What's the profit of the company? It doesn't show you anything like that.
Absolutely.
Did they see the balance sheet?
Did you see the balance sheet, Mr. Khaitan? Simple question. Did you see the balance sheet? I can hear you. I think you can hear me. Did you see the balance sheet, Mr. Khaitan?
Yeah.
Did you see the balance sheet of any of these contributing, donating companies? I'm asking you a simple question.
Okay, now let me reply. I couldn't hear the most of your question because there was some connection with the audio, problem with the audio. Now let me respond. As I said, balance sheet, whatever the violations are, if somebody is convinced that the balance sheet of the company is not in order, or the company has broken some law, we are open for all
Did
kinds of
you see the balance sheet, sir? Did the receiver of the donation look into the balance sheet before receiving it?
The income tax return. Let me respond. See, if you don't want me to respond, then I'll just simply sit back and I will just listen to you.
If an income tax commissioner...
I heard you clearly. Now let me respond. Please don't interject. Let me respond.
If an income tax commissioner says... If an income tax commissioner says that he does
1 minute,
not
Mr. Goyal. 1 second, please. Let him respond.
If an income tax commissioner says that he does not understand all this...
Mr. Goyal, please. Let him respond.
So, if this is your agenda...
I have been trying to...
1 second. Let's lower the feed. 1 second, please.
Mr. Goyal, if you have personal... If you have been paid by the party to target Arvind Kejriwal, then come clean on it.
Mr. Goyal, 1 second, please.
You have just showed your intention.
Mr. Goyal, 1 second.
Ashish!
1 second. Please, let's lower the fader of Mr. Goyal. Please, I don't want this interruption. Just do it right now. Yes. Now, Mr. Khaitan, I'm asking you a simple question.
It should be investigated. Who's paying you?
Mr. Khaitan, I'm asking you a simple question.
Who's paying for your press conferences?
Mr. Khaitan, I'm asking you a simple question. Please respond to the question. Aryaman Sundaram is also asking you that question. Did you check the balance sheet?
Yeah.
Simple.
See, yes. So when these companies come, as we said, these companies came in the first week of April 2014. We were in the midst of Lok Sabha elections. We did the maximum due diligence that one could do. But I'm telling you, if these companies have done anything wrong, please go and hang them. And the onus is today on the government of India to prove that we had some underhand deal, that these companies are even remotely connected to any of the top leadership. Please prove it that we have indulged in anything wrong, that we have broken any law.
Okay, well...
If they can't prove it, then please tell them to stop making such wild allegations.
But Mr. Khaitan, you have once again not answered the simple question that I've asked you. I'm asking you at the time of due diligence... No, 1 second. The question is very direct, and I just want to bring in the others. There is a question of timing and there's a question of due diligence. I can understand that you are irked that this matter has come up 4 days before or 5 days before polling day, and that is something that I would like the BJP to respond to, but that's a secondary issue. The principal and primary issue, Mr. Khaitan, is the one about verification, due diligence. I'm asking you, did you check the balance sheet? I don't want a sermon. I'm asking you, yes or no? Yes or no?
Okay. Will you just give me 10 seconds, and I hope you won't disrupt me. Just give me 10 seconds. On during financial year 2009-2010 to 2012-2013, global media partners invested in the preference shares of MJP Media Private Limited to the tune of 16.5 crores and sold it to MJM Communications.
Rahul, he still not answered your question, and I don't think he will.
Where is this coming from? Where are you going with this? So you are doing a sting on a sting and a scam on a scam. What are you doing?
Let me respond.
No, 1 second. Mr. Khaitan, if you are going to respond, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The channel becomes liable for all sorts of scurrilous accusations. So please, let's not be gorilla. Let's not. No, 1 second. No, 1 second. Let's not get into this. Let's not get into this. Mr. Khaitan, you can't be a gorilla. No, 1 second. You can't be a gorilla insurgent. Please, you can't be a gorilla insurgent. Stick to the point. Hold a press conference. Hold a press conference, Mr. Khaitan. I'm not stopping you. No, 1 second. Hold a press conference, Mr. Khaitan. 1 second. Mr. Khaitan, hold a press conference. Hold a press conference. Hold a press conference, make your allegations. 1 second. No, 1 second. Please. I'm asking you, did you check the balance sheet? Mr. Khaitan, hold a press conference. Hold a press conference. Hold a press conference, make your allegations. 1 second. No, 1 second. Please. I'm asking you, did you check the balance sheet? From a dubious company, and that company sold that investment to another. Can I ask you a simple, straightforward question, Mr. Khaitan? Can I ask you a straightforward question? Did you verify? So you're not answering the question. So you don't want to answer the question.
Everything.
So you don't want to answer the
Everything
question.
is for Aam Aadmi Party.
So you don't want to answer the question.
You want to question,
No,
you
so,
want to
so
grill
are we
Aam
going to
Aadmi
have a
Party,
situation,
but
Mr.
you don't
Khaitan?
want to
One
question
second.
Bharatiya Janata Party.
Mr. Khaitan, are we
Why?
going to have a
Because we are an
situation?
outlier.
Are we going to have a situation, Mr. Khaitan?
We are an outlier.
Where
we are the underdog.
Mr. Khaitan, I am not.
That's why everybody wants to finish us off.
I'm sorry, you contested the polls.
You don't want us
you
in
are
politics.
coming into this. No,
Both
one
Bharatiya
second.
Janata Party and Congress don't want in politics.
Let's stop playing victim.
They don't want us to fold up and go home.
Okay, let's not
Of
pull
course
it.
we are the victim.
Okay,
Why
let's
the
not
government of
stop
India
playing
3 days
victim.
ahead of the elections
I'm
holds
asking you a
press
simple question,
conferences?
Mr.
They are
Khaitan.
not in opposition, they are in government.
Okay, let me ask Major General Anil Verma. Who does it devolve upon, sir, Major General, to carry out due diligence?
See, obviously the the person who's receiving the money cannot wash off his hand by saying that, it's the responsibility of the people who are donating the money.
Okay, so
that is one. The other thing I want
is
to...
there a law to this effect, the PMLA?
Yeah,
Does that
PMLA
stipulate
is
it?
pretty
Okay.
clear, yes.
Mr. Akbar, I want to ask you a question. The Aam Aadmi Party is daring you to take a position in instituting a probe, daring the Bharatiya Janata Party to call for one and the government to institute it. What is stopping the government and the BJP from demanding such a probe?
The matter, Rahul, has only come to light today. I'm sure the government is taking the necessary reactions into absorbing them and will come to a very reasonable decision on this very soon.
Well,
the government doesn't react immediately. The government has to go and make its own investigations. When those investigations are complete, I'm sure they'll take action.
Well, the political parties usually, Bharatiya Janata Party, other political parties like the Congress are very quick off the block. So why is the BJP not demanding of the government an investigation? And you're a spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party.
I'm sure. Well, I mean, I'm sure the BJP. I'm telling you that we should have action by the government. Of course.
Okay, so you're going to make a call upon the government to institute an inquiry. Is that what you're saying?
Will you institute
the government
an inquiry
should take the
tomorrow?
law. After all, there's a law of the land, and the law of the land has to take its own course.
You had said that you will ask the other panelists.
I'm asking.
And you will ask their stand on the simple proposition that Aam Aadmi
I'm
Party has
asking,
made.
I'm
That
asking
are
Mr.
they
Khaitan,
open
if you would allow me.
Are they open to an SIT-led investigation?
There is a Congress party and the
Into their
BJP.
political funding
They are
as well.
both here. I'm asking them. Have no fears. I'm asking everyone. Let's be peaceful. Mr. Akbar, the question is direct from the Aam Aadmi Party. As a political party that represents public interest, will the BJP call upon the government at the centre to institute an inquiry, or there's already an SIT that has been created to investigate sources of black money? Will you ask the government to incorporate, or the courts or what have you, to incorporate an inquiry into the Aam Aadmi Party's source of funding under the SIT that has already been instituted? Simple question for you, Mr. Akbar.
Well, the inquiry should be held. Whether it is done through SIT or whether the police take action or whether the election commission takes action, there are various institutions which have been created in order to prevent corruption in elections. And therefore, these institutions, whichever is the relevant institutions, I'm sure it has to take action. It has to take action also in the fact that, the Aam Aadmi Party for the last 8 months hasn't actually disclosed, given its accounts. We seem to have forgotten that question. So I'm sure all these things, there must be action.
Us and the election commission.
It stands
you
to
don't
reason.
come into the picture. If election commission has find something wrong against in our accounts, election commission will hold us accountable. You don't need to shoot off the shoulders of our proxy organization like Awam.
Okay, 1 second.
When two sitting ministers make an allegation, they need to substantiate it. This cannot be a shoot and scoot.
Mr. Akbar, that's a fair point.
Why you're behaving like an opposition party?
That's a fair point. When two ministers take the podium and they almost second everything that Awam has said, this particular voluntary organization has said, they need to follow it up because they're honor bound to the public interest to follow it up with some sort of inquiry.
I agree with you.
Okay, so you agree that the government must follow up with an inquiry? Okay, the Aam Aadmi Party says we are open for an inquiry. I want to ask Dr. Ajay Kumar. Dr. Ajay Kumar, I find it rather strange that the Congress party has been very silent on this aspect. You haven't taken a principled position on this in public. Yes.
His press conference at 4:30 today, and he specifically mentioned the issue of Aam Aadmi Party's funding and the 4 shell companies. But you know, coming to an
I'm talking about inquiry. I'm talking about the institution of an inquiry, of an SIT. No one from the Congress party has made that specific express demand. Why?
No, because the first issue is, you know, what's happened in this election, and you understood what we are saying. They have diverted the whole issue from Gotra or the caste, or referring to somebody from different caste. Delhi has lost, just for information, 50 people, over 50 people have died in Delhi. 500 people have been affected by swine flu in Delhi for the past 1 month.
Please, 1 second.
So
I'm sure there are pressing issues. That's not the matter for debate here, please. I'm asking you, Dr. Ajay Kumar.
So let's come to this, Rahul.
Is the Congress party demanding?
To the point, Rahul.
Yeah.
The issue is, we demanded, but I want to tell something very interesting. See, first issue is, Aam Aadmi Party kept saying that the accounts are transparent, we are under RTI. If I look at Ashish's figure, 20 crores means 2 crores is 10% of their budget. Now, they said that we are in RTI, but they were, my understanding is they were able to make a black money into white money by saying it is coming by check. But it raises a huge amount of questions in methodology and how they are trying to skirt the law. See, take an example like the Chai Par Charcha which Arvind Kejriwal ji does. You know, 20,000 rupees. I mean, you are doing stuff just at the borderline of legality and then, you know, claiming martyrdom, and that is not right. The question is, that is what today's debate is about. That how do you explain the funding? You're claiming that you're in RTI, but you're not able to explain that 2 crore rupees. Whose is it? Where does it come from? It's 10% of your funding. And the amount, and by the way, in elections in Delhi, Ashish might claim to be, you know, very wrong, but Aam Aadmi Party is giving BJP a fight for every rupee. The amount of money Aam Aadmi Party is spending on the election is itself humongous. So, the questions are now coming to what has happened to the Aam Aadmi Party from their moral, and they kept, and Ashish is today, you know, feeling very aggrieved, saying that, look, you cannot make allegations. But all this 1.5 years, Aam Aadmi Party, you know...
Okay, Mr. Gaitan, what goes around comes around.
The experts on script
that's what Dr. Ajay Kumar is saying.
You know, you make allegation, you run, and you cannot do that.
Okay,
I mean,
what goes around comes around, so let him answer. Ashish Gaitan.
Okay, now I couldn't get an answer. I don't know whether you got it, but I couldn't hear a clear yes or no answer, either from the BJP or from the Congress party, that tomorrow voluntarily on their own they will disclose all the sources of their funding. They will disclose the sources of all their funding over the last 10 years, and they would welcome the proposition made by the Aam Aadmi Party that there should be an SIT, a special investigation team comprising of all the top agencies of the Government of India, monitored by the Supreme Court of India, to probe into the political funding of all 3 parties, Aam Aadmi Party, Bharatiya Janata Party and Congress Party. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Dr. Ajay Kumar.
Okay, so let me answer that. So Rahul, you see, so again, Ashish says, you know, we all political parties come under the People's Representation Act and the legality. The law says that the legality is under the People's Representation Act.
You file
your accounts. And you
change the law. There was an order by the There was an order.
Can I complete? Ashish, give me a let's not divert it. Ashish, let's not divert it. You can't, you know, you can't.
I have heard your sermon.
Let me complete, Ashish. I give you a chance to complete. Ashish.
No, Information Commissioner passed an order that Congress Party and Bharatiya Janata Party have to furnish the details of their funding.
You're not allowing anybody else to
speak. With the BJP
I'm asking
to amend the Right to Information Act because I won't allow you to get away. I won't allow you to get away. You have recently joined the Congress Party. You have recently joined the Congress Party and the loyalty to the Congress Party.
They wanted to claim the moral high ground.
You joined hands with Bharatiya Janata Party to amend the Right to Information Act, to nullify the order passed by the... You have recently joined the Congress Party. You have recently joined the Congress Party and the loyalty to the Congress Party.
They wanted to claim the moral high ground.
You joined hands with Bharatiya Janata Party to amend the Right to Information Act, to nullify the order
Ashish, explain how you got that 2 crore rupees. Who gives 2
that
crore
Congress
rupees?
and Bharatiya Janata Party will have to disclose the sources of funding.
Okay, gentlemen.
Who goes 2 crore rupees? By check, can you 20% of your total and you don't know who it is?
Gentlemen,
the only party which discloses
I'm asking
all
simple
sources of
question.
funding
You are
voluntarily.
claiming a moral high ground that you are...
no, but Dr. Ajay Kumar, one second.
You don't have rupees.
1 second, gentlemen, 1 second, please.
To question our funding.
Okay, 1 second. This is a debate that is fast turning into who is the cleanest and the purest and who is the greatest victim. Okay, 1 second. This debate is fast descending into who's the greatest victim, who's the cleanest and the purest, who has the right to ask a question and who doesn't. For the record, I have the rights to ask a question. I'm moderating this particular debate. So please. Now, Dr. Ajay Kumar, a simple question has been asked. And that question is, will you disclose all your sources of funding in 24 hours? Ashish Khaitan has asked you a simple question. Why don't you respond? Yes, no?
And Rahul, those things don't work that, again sensationalizing it doesn't work that way.
Okay.
Then all political parties come to understanding the law. No, one second, Rahul, the law says that you file your returns, you're under the control of the Election Commission.
Okay.
So suddenly Aam Aadmi Party decides, and it's interesting, they're not able to explain their 2 crores, but they want to divert the whole subject.
Okay, so it's a diversionary tactic, says the Congress. We won't answer.
Ashish is diverting it very correctly.
Okay, I just want to go across to... one second, gentlemen.
How are you spending so much money on elections?
Let me go across to the Major General who's made it his... No, 1 second. Let me go across to the Major General, gentlemen. 1 second. Okay, 1 second. Mr. Khaitan, let me bring in the Major General here who has made it his life's pursuit to push for reforms, democratic reforms. Now, Major General, how much is a problem, cutting across party lines, of unaccounted wealth in our electoral process? I just want you to put that figure out and we can wrap up this debate. Just talk us a little through the background.
Rahul, firstly, only the 20% of, or rather 25% of the amount which the political parties receive as donations is put out in the public domain. 75% of the amount is below rupees 20,000, which is never disclosed. And there are parties like BSP which say that their entire donation is below 20,000 rupees amounts, so they do not declare anything at all.
Right.
So
70% of that, according to you, the ADR, is below 20,000.
Yeah, and
so
whatever.
That's a hell of a lot of money.
And that, of course.
Congress and BJP.
Okay, 1 second, please. Now, let's not impute motives, interject, etc. Someone.
No, I fail to understand why the name of Congress and BJP is not mentioned, but only of BSP is being mentioned.
Okay, what have you? 1 second, please.
Tell me how much of yours is below 20,000, Ashish?
Okay, gentlemen.
Ashish,
why I mentioned...
Everything is above 20,000.
This is not a political question.
Everything is above 20,000.
This is not a political question.
When you used to sit with us, when you wanted to join the party, you knew that everything was below 20,000
out of 100 rupees.
Ashish Khaitan.
When you used to hang around with Aam Aadmi Party people,
Ashish
you knew
Khaitan.
that everything was clean in the party. Now you have switched the side, so everything looks skewed to you now.
No. You tell me how much of your percentage, Ashish, how much of your percentage is below 20,000?
May I just reiterate?
Not even 1%. Not even 1%.
Okay, gentlemen, 1 second.
Not even 1%.
Okay, I'm glad all of you are covered in glory.
1% is my check.
It's nice to know that all our political parties are covered equally in glory. It's great. It's really nice, and I hope that it continues to be that way and all of you come out squeaky clean. But that's not the issue here. I just want to quickly go across to the Major General so he can sum up for my viewers so I can wrap up this debate. Please, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, Rahul, I had mentioned it earlier also that the huge amounts of money which are being used during the elections needs to be curbed. There has to be a law. Election Commission has to be given more powers. The monitoring has to start at least 6 months to a year in advance because they start their campaigns in that manner.
Okay.
I just want to reiterate that BSP point. BSP, I said, is the only political party which says we do not get donations above 20,000, please. You not understood it correctly. That is why I named it. Notwithstanding that, I reinforce the point which Ashish made is about the RTI Act. Till now, the government has not appointed the CIC. The full bench of CIC passed the order in June 13 regarding the national political parties coming under the RTI. They have still not done anything. All the political parties have joined together, and I have attended 2 hearings in the CIC. They do not even send their representatives. So that is the state.
Okay, Mr. Akbar, very quickly, can there even be a debate when the entire playing field is so skewed? Just a quick question to you.
Well, we are having a debate, so there can be a debate.
Okay, but we must know where to start from. Where does one start from, Mr. M.J. Akbar? Should we start with a process? Should we start with a particular?
I think what we have to leave, the best place to start and end this particular debate on funding is with the Election Commission.
Okay,
with the Election Commission is a constitutional body. It's a body which has been designed to sort these problems out. Yes, there are problems, and I think the Election Commission is the proper body.
Okay, we leave it at that. We leave it at that. Thanks indeed for joining us. The Aam Aadmi Party putting up a spirited show here. The BJP and the Congress hitting back with very specific points which we didn't really get answers on. And also, of course, the Aam Aadmi Party's central question about whether this government is going to institute an inquiry. As of now, we don't have clarity on that. Perhaps tomorrow there will be greater clarity on that one specific question, and an inquiry can perhaps be instituted so that this matter is behind us. We leave it at that.